Hugh Jackman is a bona fide movie star. He combines talent, versatility and discipline. He's had a long acting career with a filmography that not many actors can match, and he's been able to move across multiple genres with ease. See, most actors try to disappear using different acting techniques, building different bodies, different personalities, becoming unrecognizable. But Hugh Jackman doesn't disappear. Instead, he just shows up, exactly the same, every single time. And it works. In fact, it works so well that he's managed to move between genres, superhero movies, Broadway musicals, prestige dramas, romantic comedies, without ever losing credibility, without getting stuck or typecast. And that's pretty impressive considering he's been playing the same character for the last 20 years.
Xavier, go fuck yourself.
For Jackman, it's not even about range. He has a lot of range, but it's more about his presence. And it's more about that movie star quality that not everyone has. In fact, you could argue that it's becoming more rare than just being a great actor. He doesn't transform into characters, instead, he is the character. What makes Jackman so unique and successful is really more about how perfectly formed he is as a movie star. I mean, literally, how perfectly formed he is. I mean, I know I mentioned about talent, versatility and discipline, but let's not get past his looks and his voice and the way he speaks, that Aussie accent that somehow sounds calm, confident and masculine all at the same time. The way he stands, the way he walks and runs, and the way he stares, that slightly raised eyebrow that says, I don't know what it says, it kind of makes you feel good. He looks like he can handle anything. Anything. And honestly, it's no wonder he became a movie star. He doesn't look like someone pretending to be one. He looks like a bloody movie star. And he feels like one. He's built different. His early life, before the fame, before Wolverine, he was just this Aussie theatre actor, training at the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts, one of the most respected acting schools in the country. Part of the training that Aussie actors go through in Australia is that they're often taught to be a triple threat of acting, singing and dancing. So they're really good at getting connected with the voice, movement and emotion. He was doing stage work, TV, small parts, and he did a great little movie called Erskineville Kings. It's an excellent drama with dry Australian humour. You can already see the screen presence that he has, or at least you would have if I could have found some clips to show you. But the very next year, his big break in X-Men, a part originally for another actor. It was going to be a Doug Ray Scott. Man, this guy. Man, he would have. I love that guy. Anyway, Hugh Jackman was a last-minute replacement. He had almost no time, no physical transformation, no guarantee it would all work out.
I got the part 3 weeks before I started filming. So I started to get into shape, but I was certainly nowhere near what I thought it should have been. I mean, I started going pretty hard, training really hard and doing my best to eat. I really didn't know anything about the science of getting into shape or what I had to eat. So it took even longer. And if you look at the movie, the first scene I shot where you saw my physique was when I wake up in the mansion. I race down the hallway and I have my shirt off. If you look at me walk down that corridor, I am definitely not definitely not in shape.
Wolverine was a hit and it made him iconic, a career-defining role. And I think Wolverine's one of my favorite superhero characters because of how tortured he is. He's constantly dealing with pain, loss, and his own past. He's lived for so long and lost so many people. He struggles with this violent side of himself, which makes him feel more human than other comic book characters. The best superheroes are the tortured ones because they have something deeper driving them. Their pain and trauma or inner conflict makes their choices more meaningful and their stories more emotional. Characters like Wolverine aren't perfect, they're broken in some way, and that's what makes them interesting and relatable. And he's gotta be like the most beaten up and abused superheroes ever.
So much for being a survivor.
What's so great about the 20 years and 9+ movies that we've had is that they've really been able to give a lot of depth to the character and explore Logan's history, his origin, his time in the Weapon X program, and his life before and after joining X-Men. X-Men Origins is probably one of the best in the Wolverine series, especially for the action, the fights, the camera work, and the introduction of all the characters makes it a good ensemble piece. Even if it's not the most critically praised, it gives more background to who Wolverine is and where he came from. X-Men Days of Future Past goes even further by exploring different timelines and showing more of his past before and around the Weapon X program. It adds depth to his character and shows much more that he's been going through across time, not just in one life, but across multiple realities.
Is everything all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is.
Logan is the R-rated emotional farewell, and it's honestly my favorite one. It's widely considered one of the best superhero films ever made, and for good reason. The movie focuses on his legacy and the aftermath of everything he's gone through in his long, painful life. The scenes are emotional and powerful, and you really feel the weight of his long journey. He's older, worn down, and carrying all that pain. And emotionally, it hits a lot harder because we've sort of grown up with the character. And now he's old, and everyone else is gone. And, man, it's just sad. Jackman first played Wolverine in 2000, X-Men. Over the 20 years, Jackman's given the character so much development. And as an actor, he just gets better and better. More grounded, more confident in the character, more layered. Just more jacked as well. I mean, damn, look at this guy. He just gets more chiseled every single movie.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
There's about 9 movies with Wolverine altogether, and you can watch them in chronological order if you want to. You've got X-Men Origins, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, The Wolverine, and Logan. But that timeline just focuses on Wolverine, and so it gets a bit tricky because you don't really want to miss out the other X-Men movies. And there's several more in the full series, so you kind of have to watch all of them because there's lots of important context and characters, storylines that connect his journey. Also, X-Men is a classic. It's a great superhero film with a strong mix of action, characters, and the original team dynamic.
You gonna tell me to stay away from your girl?
Well, if I had to do that, she wouldn't be my girl.
Well, then I guess you've got nothing to worry about, do you? Cyclops. Cyclops, right? You wanna get out of my way?
Jackman didn't just play Wolverine, he defined the character for an entire generation and basically set the bar of how to embody a comic character on screen. X-Men was one of the first major superhero films of the early 2000s.
Oh, and Logan. Stay away from my girl.
And it really helped kick off the modern superhero movie era. At that time, the genre wasn't as established as it is now, so filmmakers had to approach things differently. They were much more focused on making the story believable, so that audiences could really accept the idea of these superheroes in a real-world setting. The tone was more grounded, and there was a strong emphasis on character development, relationships, and dialogue. Because of that, a lot of the scenes rely on characters talking, debating, and confronting each other through meaningful dialogue and conflict, rather than constant CGI action. The film follows a classic structure, introducing the characters, building the story, establishing the conflict and the villains, and then leading to a final showdown with a satisfying payoff. Now that layout might seem traditional, but it's also what makes the story work so well.
Maybe it's time for us to move on. Not everybody heals as fast as you, Logan.
You get time to understand the characters and actually care about what happens to them. Back then, they had time. They had viewers' attention span. Nowadays, films don't have viewers' attention. They gotta slap people straight in the face to get them to watch. They focus more on visual effects and large-scale action. And while that can be exciting, it sometimes comes at the expense of character depth and emotional connections. It's just a constant spectacle, a CGI showcase rather than a story driven by people or relationships. Back then, X-Men needed that grounded, character-focused approach for the genre to succeed. And arguably, that's why the films still hold up today. Because they made you believe in the characters first.
What do they call you? Wheels?
By all logic, Hugh Jackman should have been typecast, completely stuck in that one iconic role of playing Wolverine for so long. He chooses his projects wisely. Instead of staying in the same lane, he deliberately takes on a wide range of parts. Musicals, dramas, thrillers, and stage performances. To prove that he's more than just Wolverine. That variety has helped him avoid being boxed in and showed audiences that he has real versatility. Because of these choices, he didn't just stay relevant, he's built a long, respected career beyond a single character. He's not a traditional character actor. He's not a Daniel Day-Lewis, disappearing completely into parts or trying to vanish into a character. Instead, he comes into a role already feeling like the finished product. There's a sense of control, confidence, and presence, and that energy often carries the film that he's in. For me, my favourite Jackman performances are when that control that he has starts to break, when that strong presence starts to crack. Films like Prisoners, The Prestige, Logan, and The Fountain. That's where I think he's at his best. I like the less polished version of his performances. The desperation, the vulnerability, the moments where he's not playing to the character, where he almost feels like he's pulling inward instead of projecting outward. Everything feels internal, introverted, broken and exhausted, barely holding it together. You get to see grief, obsession, and in those moments, the movie star disappears just enough for something real to come through.
Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?
Prisoners is where Hugh Jackman completely abandons his control. The film itself is built around this collapse in morality, a slow descent into desperation where certainty disappears and instincts take over. Jackman's performance is so physical, shouting and pacing, the shaking. It's not clean, it's not measured, it's messy and uncomfortable. The constant torture in his eyes that he's going through, you can feel his panic. Jackman doesn't try to make the character likable, instead he lets him become obsessive, cruel, borderline mean and nasty. A very real and true-to-life performance.
Day 6. And every day, she's wondering why I'm not there to fucking rescue her. Do you understand that? Me, not you. Not you, but me. Every day. So forgive me for not going home to have a good night's rest.
In The Prestige, Jackman is the showman in full control, with precision, obsession hidden behind his character's performance. The film is about duality, sacrifice, revenge, and the cost of illusion. There's a theatricality to him, a need to be seen, to be admired, and to be the best. But underneath that is insecurity and eventually desperation. Christian Bale's great, but Jackman's character is so layered and interesting to watch him unravel during the movie.
Would you like to do, Ty? I keep asking myself that. And? I'm sorry, I just don't know. You don't know? I'm sorry. You don't know? You don't know?
Logan is probably the most complete version of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. This 20-year, 9+ movie has gone all around. Full revolution, multiple arcs, and he's stronger but weaker at the same time. The film strips everything away and we're left with the age and pain and consequences of his life. Jackman's just constantly tired and fed up in every scene. Superhero movies don't get recognized for their acting and character development, but this performance of all the superheroes is so powerful. Every movement feels heavy. Every line feels like it costs a lot to say. He's not trying to be the hero anymore, although he never did, but now he's really done with it. It hasn't got him anything except a life of pain and regret, and he's just trying to survive. The anger's still there, but it's quieter, more internal. Also, I love the R rating of this movie, because we get to see the practical use of his claws, not the fancy fighting where he kills people without really hurting them. Just nice looking fight scenes. This doesn't hide away from the fact that this guy's got like huge knives attached to his hands.
Long claws and sharp teeth.
What are they for? They're for stabbing. I know it, and you know it. So let's use them as they were made to be used. See? One for you, one for you, one for you. And also, what was great is they got to introduce the father and daughter relationship, which is something they hadn't touched on in the entire series.
Oh, this is what it feels like.
The Fountain, probably his most emotionally exposed performance, and also his most overlooked. The film itself is very abstract, fragmented, jumping across timelines in the journey of going through the spiritual and the... I don't really know what the film's about, but I know at the core it's about grief, and Jackman carries a lot of grief in the movie. There's no explosive anger like Prisoners, no physical decay like in Logan. He plays a man who cannot accept loss, and that refusal slowly becomes the thing that destroys him. There's a tree in it, and he drinks from the tree, and I don't really know what it's about, but his performance is pretty damn good. Jackman flips it all with Broadway performances, The Greatest Showman. Is there anything this guy can't do? I mean, he's not just an actor, he is a full-on performer. On Broadway, he's won Tony Awards, he's hosted the Tony Awards. He's known for doing everything live, singing, dancing. He got an Oscar nomination for his best acting. All the singing was done live on set, which is insane. The Greatest Showman, the film that wasn't expected to be huge at first, but thanks to a kick-ass soundtrack, and of course, Zac Efron. Always a safe bet to boost a movie. The film turned into a global hit, especially with families, younger audiences, and me. He doesn't treat any genre with less enthusiasm or focus. He gives it all 100%. He really is a great showman. Being a real movie star, he's on all the time. The behind the scenes is just as entertaining as the finished product. Great for the production companies having him on there because he sells the movie. Movie stars aren't just built on screen. They're built in the interviews, in the press tours, in the fan meetups, in the photos. And Hugh Jackman has that Tom Cruise effect. His smile, his energy is infectious. Jackman has the movie star image down. Long marriage, great reputation, no major controversies. People respect him. Actors talk about him with respect. Ah, he's divorced? Ah, shit. Hugh Jackman's success really comes down to a rare mix of versatility, iconic roles, technical skills, discipline, and just being genuinely likable. Plus the intelligence to handle and manage that career over time. Because if you look at the big A-listers, they're all great at what they do, but they don't move across all genres as smoothly in the same way that Hugh Jackman does. And that's what makes him stand out. He's a franchise icon, a trained stage performer, a serious dramatic actor, and a musical star. Most actors are one, maybe two of those, but he's all of them at once. Character actors transform, but movie stars deliver. And Hugh Jackman sits right in that space. He's not exciting because he's unpredictable. He's exciting because you know exactly what you're going to get from him. And that's what makes him feel like one of the last real movie stars. He's closer to that Tom Cruise, Will Smith level. Yeah, Will Smith. A proper old school box office draw. And today, with everything changing, with CGI and AI, that kind of movie star is almost a dying breed, which actually makes someone like him even more valuable. And honestly, I think that's why he's still going to be out there, kicking ass on screen for many years to come.
What